So as I said, this is the prelude. So this is a song that, it's a song that we need right now. You've sung it before, or I've sung it before here, so yeah, it'll sound familiar. It also sounds familiar because Pete Seeger wrote it to the melody of Lonesome Valley. So you've got a double whammy there. So it's quite early morning, and do we have the slide for it? Or, okay. You know it's darkest before the dawn. This thought keeps me moving on. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now quite early morning. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now quite early morning. Some say that humankind won't long endure. What makes them feel so doggone sure? I know that you who hear my singing could make those freedom bells go ringing. I know that you who hear my singing could make those freedom bells go ringing. And so we keep on while we live, till we have no more to give. And when these fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo to young ones stronger. And when these fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo to young ones stronger. So though it's darkest before the dawn, these thought keeps us moving on. Through all this world of joy and sorrow, we still can have singing tomorrows. Through all this world of joy and sorrow, we still can have singing tomorrows. Okay, so we're going to start with the land acknowledgement here. Standing on Treaty 6 territory, we recognize and acknowledge that this land on which we stand has been the gathering place for millennia of many Indigenous peoples. As treaty people, we acknowledge, honor, and respect the history, wisdom, knowledge, languages, ceremonies, and culture of the First Nations of this continent, of the Métis peoples, of the Inuit, of all who gathered in this place, the Misquitchie. We learn from the first peoples of our connection to the land, of our responsibility to protect and respect Mother Earth. We honor and respect and mourn the ancestors and children buried here, the missing and murdered Indigenous women and men. We acknowledge our need for collective healing. We remember that we are all treaty people and that we are all responsible for each other. And welcome. If you know me, fine. If you don't know me, I'm Rob Wiznura, and welcome to Westwood. And a few years ago, I wrote something about Westwood to kind of for those unfamiliar with it. And if you know it, you can recite it with me, but even though I didn't put it on the slide. Westwood is a welcoming space where we strive to embrace who and what we are, regardless of belief or how ourselves we currently conceive. Westwood is a challenging place where we individually and collectively trace a path that struggles to find truth. Westwood welcomes our elders, middles, muddles, and youths, and a rainbow of peoples and beliefs, theists, non-theists, atheists, paganists, agnostics, gnostics, cynics, and eccentrics. Westwood welcomes people regardless of race, color, class, creed, or breed, gender, ethnicity, unicity, elasticity, or neurodiversity. Westwood welcomes how you conceive your growing identity on the continuum of discovery. Whichever pronouns you choose to use today or tomorrow, or the direction of your affections, or your color in the rainbow. Okay, ooh. We're going to light the chalice, and then we're going to have my script here for the Advent calendar. This is the season of anticipation, the marking of time leading up to an expected event that happens every year. Here at Westwood, we mark the weeks leading up to winter solstice. So where other churches think it's the third Sunday of Advent, we're saying it's the fourth Sunday, because we're always ahead of the curve. Here at Westwood, we mark the weeks leading up to winter solstice, the turning of the earth, which places us at the farthest angle from the sun, the shortest day, and the longest night of the year. The candle of love is a reminder that we are not alone. It is lit in the direction of north, which corresponds to the element of earth, representing our mother, our home, our interdependent web. We commit ourselves to the care and nurture of each other and of the planet, and we remember that each act of love can encourage and inspire more love. And
Are we going to sing our song?
yes, we are. Now let's sing our Westwood Advent Carol. Together we get to sing 4 verses.
Yes. And the tune is Bring a Torch to Nazareth. Let's sing about here.
Greet the season of anticipation, watching for the return of the sun. Boldly shines a light in the east, now darkness will not overwhelm us. Hope, hope, look for the blessings coming. Hope, hope, Advent has begun. Greet the season of anticipation, watching for the return of the sun. Gently shines a light in the south, now darkness will not overwhelm us. Peace, peace, quell the tempest raging. Peace, peace, peace for everyone. Greet the season of anticipation, watching for the return of the sun. Brightly shines a light in the west, now darkness will not overwhelm us. Joy, joy, look for the light to cheer us. Joy, joy, joy come to everyone. Greet the season of anticipation, watching for the return of the sun. Warmly shines a light in the north, now darkness will not overwhelm us. Love, love, love bind the world together. Love, love, living in everyone. In 1956, Pete came out with an album on Folkways Records called Love Songs for Friends and Foes. 1956, well, it was before I was born, but nonetheless, Pete was blacklisted. So he couldn't appear, he couldn't be played on radio, or he lost his record contract. That's why he was recording for Folkways, because Folkways didn't care, because they would sell records in the hundreds as opposed to the tens of thousands and so on. So he put out this album, and so I mean, he was blacklisted, and there was a number of things going on, like above ground nuclear bomb testing, for example. So, you know, and I was thinking, there was a recent election, and a lot of people were kind of feeling a bit despondent about the world, and I was thinking, well, you know, other times have been bleak, and that Pete took things in hand, and so I thought that it was good to go back in time. As Lee Hayes of the Weavers once said, this too shall pass. This is a song that you all know, and one of the things that's strange about Pete is, I mean, he tells all these stories about songs, and I remember I was talking once to Michael Ash about this, and I said, I can't figure out the chronology. It doesn't make sense. And he goes, that's because they all lie. He said they are all in oral culture, and they just make up stuff. And because Pete will talk about this song, and he said that he wrote it, and it didn't really go anywhere. Okay, fine. And then he said, and then some. He refers to them as young rock and rollers. I don't know anybody who thinks Peter, Paul, and Mary as young rock and rollers, but nonetheless. He says that they changed the lyrics. So originally it was written, it's If I Had a Hammer. So the Hammer song, All of My Brothers. And then he gives them credit for changing it to My Brothers and My Sisters. But then, lo and behold, I'm listening to this 1956 recording, 5 years before Peter, Paul, and Mary existed, and he's singing My Brothers and My Sisters. So, so he was sensitive to that issue already. Lee Hayes was annoyed by the lyric change, by the way. Lee Hayes wrote the lyrics to the song, and he says, what are we going to sing next? All of my siblings? So even people on the left can be curmudgeons. So there we go. As you probably know this song. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, hammer in the evening, hammer in the evening. All over this land, ring out danger, I'd ring out danger, ring out a warning, I'd ring out a warning, ring out love, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. I should mention something before we go to the second verse. So some of you are singing a different melody. And that Peter, Paul, and Mary did change the melody slightly, and then Pete said he discovered that they harmonized. And he said, there's a moral in there somewhere. So there. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, ring it in the evening, ring it in the evening, all over this land. Ring out danger, ring out danger, ring out a warning, ring out a warning, ring out love, I ring out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, sing it in the evening, sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Well, I've got a hammer, and I got a bell, and I got a song, and I got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom. It's a song of love, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters, all when he first wrote that song, he said that it became instantly collectible. Only collectors got it. So it wasn't until Peter, Paul, and Mary came that the song became popular. And then, of course, most famously at the March on Washington, they sang that in front. So when you're, we'll see with the new Bob Dylan movie that's coming out, how they present Pete and how they present those early years. It'll be interesting because I've noticed they've already erased certain people from the narrative, so it's going to be interesting. An important ritual that we have in the Unitarian Universalist community is the lighting of candles of celebration and concern. So I welcome any of you to come and light a candle of celebration or concern. Together, let's recite the affirmation. May the light of these candles inspire us to use our power, to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to serve the spirit of truth in loving hope, affection, and trusting hope. Okay. So this is a song that Pete recorded on this album. We're singing the first song, which was the prelude, so it didn't count as a song, wasn't on this album. He wrote that one later. But this song he did record, and I didn't realize that Leonard Cohen recorded it too. So it's so maybe you've heard Leonard Cohen's version of this song, but Leonard Cohen being Leonard Cohen, he kind of does it a little differently than a little more slower, a little sadder than this than Pete's. Okay, so can we go to the next slide? Because I want to go through the refrain first. Next. There we go. Passing through, sometimes happy, sometimes blue, glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. Try that. Passing through, sometimes happy, sometimes blue, glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. Okay, now we have to go back to the verse. You'll get the verses are pretty straightforward. So by the time we're almost done, you'll have it. I saw Adam leave the garden with an apple in his hand. He said, "Now you're out, what are you gonna do? Plant my crops and pray for rain, maybe raise a little cane. I'm an orphan now and only passing through. Passing through, sometimes happy, sometimes blue, glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. I saw Jesus on the cross on that hill called Calvary. Do you hate humanity for what they done to you? He said, talk of love, not hate. There's things to do, it's getting late. I've so little time and I'm only passing through. Passing through, sometimes glad, sometimes blue, glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. I shivered with George Washington one night at Valley Forge. Why do the soldiers freeze here like they do? He said people suffer and they fight, even die for what is right, even though they know they're only passing through. Passing through, sometimes happy, sometimes blue, glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. I was at Franklin Roosevelt's side just a while before he died. He said one world must come from World War II. Yankee, Russian, white or tan, we are all just human, brothers and sisters, and we're only passing through. Passing through, passing through. Sometimes glad, sometimes blue, glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. Passing through, passing through. Sometimes glad, sometimes blue, glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through.
That's a good little song.
I know, isn't that a great song? I saw somebody on the internet was posting about the song, and they said that their elementary school teacher had them taught them this song, and they were saying that they probably wouldn't be allowed to sing this in the public system now because of the references to Jesus and Adam and Eve and so on. The album, the title for the album, Love Songs for Friends and Foes, Pete used to say that all of the songs that he would sing were love songs, even the protest songs. And I always thought that was a very nice way of looking at, no matter how angry a song is, it's actually still a love song. But the line comes from Edna St. Vincent Millay, the poet. My candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night. But ah, my foes and oh, my friends, it gives a lovely light. So it's a particularly pertinent poem for this time of year as we're coming up to the solstice. The next song that we're going to sing that's from this album we've sung before. And I don't know. When I practice at home, when I practice these songs, I think I have the right key. And then I come here and I find it's always so low that I feel like I'm scraping the bottom. So I've learned to go to capo a little higher than what I sing at home. So I'm hoping I've got it right this time. River of my people. You will recognize it as soon as you hear it. There's a river of my people, and its flow is swift and strong. Though its course won't flow into some mighty ocean, though its course is deep and long. And then we repeat that. Flow into some mighty ocean, though its course is deep and long. It has to be louder than that. You have to sing louder than that. Okay. Flowing to some mighty ocean, though its course is deep and long. And the second time we come, that's the time to start throwing in harmonies, Rebecca. Many rocks and reefs and mountains seek to bar it on its way, but relentlessly this river seeks its brothers at the sea. But relentlessly this river seeks its sisters at the sea. You will find me in the mainstream, steering surely through the foam. Far beyond its raging waters, I can see our certain home. Far beyond its raging waters, I can see our certain home. For I have met this mighty river, and I know its mighty force, and the courage that this gives me will hold me to my course. And the courage that this gives me will hold me to my course. O river of my people, together we must go. Hasten onward to that meeting where my brothers wait, I know. Hasten onward to that meeting where my sisters wait, I know. One of the weird things about looking at an album from 1956, like I mentioned that Pete had already changed If I Had Hammer to My Brothers and Sisters, but every other song will have these references to brothers, and none of the sisterhood are represented. So I always have to change the lyrics a little bit, and sometimes they don't scan so cleanly. But Pete always would try to change them as the years went on. So he actually had made that change. So in 1956, he did sing, "Where my brothers wait, I know, where my brothers wait, I know," but then he changed it to "My brothers and my sisters" over time. This next song is not from that album. This is a song he wrote originally for his wife, Toshi Seeger. And but then because it's Pete, it gets larger. It's a small song, very short song, so we get to do it multiple times. But it embraces everybody. So there's a line, one of the key lines is, "You showed me we could share in time, you and me and Rockefeller." So it's kind of like, why is Rockefeller in this song? Because friends and foes. Oh, I think I'm going to capo this, actually. Just when I thought all was lost, you changed my mind. You gave me hope, not just the old soft soap. You showed that we could learn to share in time. You and me and Rockefeller, I'll keep plugging on. Your face will shine through all our tears. And when we sing another little victory song, precious friend, you will be there, singing in harmony. Precious friend, you will be there. Okay, that's a lot, but you'll get it. Just when I thought all was lost, you changed my mind, you changed my mind. You gave me hope, not just the old soft soap. You gave me hope, not just the old soft soap. You showed that we could learn to share in time. You and me and Rockefeller, I'll keep plugging on. Your face will shine, your face will shine through all our tears, through all our tears. And when we sing another little victory song, precious friend, you will be there, singing in harmony, singing in harmony. Precious friend, you will be there, See, that's a pretty complicated song, and you're getting it. So we'll do it a couple more times till you're tired of it. Just when I thought all was lost, you changed my mind, you changed my mind. You gave me hope, not just the old soft soap. You showed that we could learn to share in time. You and me and Rockefeller, I'll keep plugging on. Your face will shine through all our tears. And when we sing another little victory song, precious friend, you will be there. Singing in harmony. Precious friend, you will be there. One more time. Just when I thought all was lost, you changed my mind, you changed my mind. You gave me hope, not just the old soft soap. You gave me hope, not just the old soft soap. You showed that we could learn to share in time. You and me and Rockefeller, I'll keep plugging on. Your face will shine, your face will shine through all our tears. And when we sing another little victory song, precious friend, you will be there. Singing in harmony, precious friend, you will be there. So one of the stranger love songs that's been written. This was a song. Lauren's going to be mad at me. There's a really important song on this album, Love Song for Friends and Foes, and you've probably heard it because it became an actual hit from an actual rock and roll group, Three Dog Night. But they changed the lyrics, and it was originally a children's song. And it was written by Earl Robinson, who also wrote the song Joe Hill, that you might be familiar with. And it was written when the Supreme Court made the decision to end segregation. And so remember, this is like when we're going back in time, 1956, it's a very dark period. I mean, the McCarthy area is still it's dying, but it's still there. Above ground nuclear testing, the Cold War. I mean, we haven't even come to the Cuba blockade yet, and so on. We haven't even had the Cuban Revolution. But so I mean, it's a strange time, and segregation. The Supreme Court just overturned segregation. So in the midst of this, there is, just like solstice, there is some light. So this is the song, and Black and White is the song. So you probably know a child is black, a child is white. So Three Dog Night, they kind of took out the references to the actual decision, but it was originally written, like I said, for a grade 6 class to sing. It was they were singing. They did this little musical in the school to celebrate the U.S. Constitution, of all things. And it was a grade 6 class, and they recorded this, and Pete recorded this song. Oh, I'm not going to capo that. I'm just going to sing you a couple of the verses here, because it sounds a little different, because if you're used to the Three Dog Night, they do a big production number where it just kind of becomes a celebration of diversity. But this is, the ink is black, the page is white, together we learn to read and write, So you can see it is a more of a children's song. But my favorite verse in this is, their robes were black, their robes were white. The schoolhouse doors were closed so tight, 9 judges all set down their names and ended the years and years of shame, years of shame. And that's, to my mind, that is the song, that verse. And it's so sad that it was cut out from the Three Dog Night version, because that's the one with all the punch. Okay, we're gonna sing another song from this album, which you all know. It's a song that we need to sing. Old black spiritual. We need a slide. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside and study war no more. I ain't gonna 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 study war no more. I'm gonna talk with that Prince of Peace down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna talk with that Prince of Peace down by the riverside and study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 I'm gonna shake hands around the world down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna shake hands around the world down by the riverside and study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Once again, I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. And that song is also, I mean, you may not, I love when it says 6 times. I imagine people counting 1, 2, 3. How many times have we done it? But that line about study war no more comes from Prophet Isaiah. So it's right at this time of year, the darkest time of the year, that line has traditionally become about beating their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. And nation will not rise against nation, and they will study war no more. So there we go. It's a long, long dream. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have switched. Okay, we're going to do a Canadian song. Because maybe you don't know that this is a Canadian song. Ed McCurdy. Only Alfred knows who Ed McCurdy is. This song has been heavily recorded from everybody from Arlo Guthrie to Simon and Garfunkel on their first album. Last night I had the strangest dream I never dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed I saw a mighty room filled with women and men, and the paper they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when the paper was all signed and 1,000,000 copies made, they all joined hands and bowed their heads. Grateful prayers were prayed. And the people in the streets below were dancing round and round. And swords and guns and uniforms were scattered on the ground. Last night I had the strangest dream I never dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. So who knew that was a Canadian song here? Nobody? Who's never heard that song before? Okay. Well, then that was a tricky one to learn off the top. Okay. Where am I here? Some of the other songs on this album, I mean, there's a song called Mr. Bilbo, and it's very pertinent to the current atmosphere in the U.S. right now. It's not a song that, because of changes in language and stuff, it's not a song I really could sing, but it's about the hostility towards immigrants and so on. And the song basically says, you know, Mr. Bilbo, you hate everybody, but guess where you're not also from here. You are also an immigrant. There's another song on the album, and I'm trying to remember. Oh yes, there's a beautiful song called Arthurine. It's just not a group kind of song. And Arthurine was the young girl who was the first one to go into the schools, the desegregated school, and was spat at and so on. So I mean that, and people were swearing at her and stuff as she was going into school. You know, imagine a child wanting to learn. So I mean, it's and you know that. As the opening song, the prelude, you know, it's darkest before the dawn, and it's what we remember as we're coming into solstice and so on, and that even though that there's some reasons to be bleak or to be sad, there's always a little bit of hope, and there's always little bit of light, especially if we stand together. I want to. Finish, you've got one more song to sing, don't worry. But I want to finish with a Christmas poem that Malvina Reynolds wrote. Malvina Reynolds, for those of you who are familiar with her, or who aren't familiar with her, she wrote a song called Little Boxes that was kind of famous and was used on the TV show Weeds as their opening sequence song. But Pete met her, and Pete was 28 when he met her, and she was 47, I think. And she said, "Oh, I want to do what you're doing, Pete. I want to write. I want to learn how to play the guitar and write these songs and stuff." And he was thinking, "Okay." He's thinking, "You're a little old," and And then he said, and he always regretted thinking that. Because she became a mighty force. She was an unstoppable person. But she was also a Unitarian Universalist down in California, down in Berkeley. And in 1967, she wrote this poem and circulated it to her friends, and that's where Pete got it. You have been directed to look inside yourself for the meaning of life, for your soul. You may find nothing there, because the soul is not inherent. The soul is something we accumulate in the course of living. Living means love. Living includes work and conflict. How can you love if you do not face and resist the forces of destruction? Such a course requires courage, and courage is a true value. How can you live if you do not create in return for the sustenance you need? This requires effort, and effort is a true thing. It is the source of food and beauty, and in its use of a resilient mind and body. The valid community is mutually supporting. You are not alone. You are nothing alone. Living together, working, communicating has made us what we are. A meaning. In the monster cities of our time, communities disappear. People are alien to one another. The system of values of now prevents them from helping one another. I believe that a new community is happening. It is smothered many times by the establishment, but it is bound to grow again. Conversation is thinking in its natural state. Thinking is the conversation within us. Words distinguish us from the blessed beasts. Words began in human beings in the process of transforming gregariousness into cooperation. But words corrupted to manipulate others for selfish purposes are as poisonous as polluted water. Being is the process of becoming. Now is all that went before and the direction in which it is going. The soul is not an inner pearl. It is a patina created as an individual functions in a community. Not knowing, people called it God, for it was not in the unique self nor in the world, so they could not explain it. The soul is a function of communal living. And as Pete says, oh, how we need her wisdom now. And I'm going to do I'm supposed to extinguish the candles, but
Do you want some help?
well, I want to do the last song. But you can extinguish them while we're doing the last song, and then you can harmonize on the mic. Okay, I think I gave the wrong lyrics because I was so obsessed with getting the lyrics correct with the brothers and sisters and stuff. And then I didn't even look at this one because I didn't have anything that could be problematic. And it's wrong. So I'm going to line this for you. Lining is when I do it before you do it, but it works, this song. This is a song that Pete wrote for a contest. He came back from traveling and he saw a contest for a free trip to Hawaii, so he wrote this song. He didn't win, but he said he got a good song out of it, so he thinks he won. One blue sky above us, one blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shore, one ocean lapping all our shore, one earth so green and round, one earth so green and round. Who could ask for more? Who could ask for more? And because I love you, and because I love you, I'll give it one more try. I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. To show my rainbow race. It's too soon to die. It's too soon to die. Some folks want to be like an ostrich, bury their heads in the sand. Some hope that plastic dreams can unclench all those greedy hands. Some want to take the easy way, poisons, bombs, they think we need them. Don't you know you can't kill all the unbelievers? There's no shortcut to freedom. One blue sky above us, one blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shore, ocean lapping all our shore, one earth so green and round, one earth so green and who could ask for more? Who could ask for more? And because I love you, and because I love, I'll give it one more try. I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. To show my, it's too soon to die. It's too soon to die. Go tell all the little children. Go tell all the mothers and fathers too. Now's our last chance to learn to share what's been given to me and you. One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our, one earth so green and round, one earth so green. Who could ask for more? Who could ask for more? And because I love you, and because I love you, I'll give it one more try. I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. To show my rainbow race. It's too soon to die. It's too soon to die. One more time. One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shore, one earth so green and round, one earth so green. Who could ask for more? Who could ask for more? And because I love you, and because I'll give it one more try, I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. To show my, it's too soon to die. It's too soon to die. So we'll see you all at solstice.